I never thought I'd be the kind of man who held grudges. Maybe I still don't. I like to believe I'm someone who gives. Gives time, gives love, gives money, sometimes too easily. That's probably where it all began, honestly. Not with some explosion or fight, but with the slow, quiet erosion of boundaries. The kind you don't even notice until you're ankle-deep in silence and side-eyes. The day the envelope came, I was at my desk, sorting out a final payment for her apartment's utilities. She'd moved in 2 years ago when she transferred schools to finish her degree. A graduate program, education administration, if I remember right. I helped her fill out the FAFSA, but it was my credit card that bridged the rest. I told her not to worry about it. I meant it too. So when I saw a glossy envelope on the corner of my desk with her school's logo, I smiled. I thought it was an invite, maybe even a thank you card. I imagined her handwriting, tight cursive, always slanted right, like her words were trying to rush off the page. But when I opened it, it wasn't from her. It was a university bulletin, an announcement. Commencement ceremony, June 4th. It had all the names, honor rolls, a few featured profiles. And right there, in serif font under featured graduates, was her photo, beaming in a cap and gown I'd never seen, holding a diploma I'd paid for. No mention of me. No, thank you to my partner. No seat reserved. No text. Not even a forwarded email. Just a bulletin. I stared at that smiling photo for maybe 5 full minutes. She looked radiant, cheeks a little fuller, hair curled at the ends like she used to do back when we were happy. But there was something else. Something in her eyes. Freedom, maybe. Or something colder. I called her. Straight to voicemail. Again. Voicemail. A third time, and I left a message. Hey, I saw the bulletin. I didn't know the ceremony was already set. Let me know if there's a ticket or if I should just meet you after. No reply. Not that day. Not the next. Not ever. It's strange how the absence of something can say more than words. There was no fight. No breakup. We weren't even technically apart. But I knew then, without her having to say a word, that I wasn't part of her story anymore. She'd already started editing me out. We met at a teaching conference 3 years ago. She was ambitious, fresh off a bachelor's degree, waiting tables between classes. I was managing a small publishing press, barely making rent, but happy in that scrappy, romantic kind of way. She had big dreams. Charter schools. Reform. Making a difference. I believed in her. God, I really did. She moved in a few months after we met. Her car was breaking down every other week, so I co-signed a lease on a reliable used Honda. Nothing fancy, just dependable. Then came the apartment closer to her new campus. I paid the deposit, furnished it, stocked the fridge. I justified it all by telling myself it was love. And love, to me, has always meant showing up, even when it costs. Looking back, there were signs. Little things I chalked up to stress or school. Her phone was always face down. Just avoiding distractions, she said. Passwords changed more often than usual. Her schedule shifted. Night classes that didn't match the course catalog. Study groups with names I never heard twice. I never pushed. I didn't want to be that guy, the insecure, clingy one. So I let it slide. Until the graduation. Or rather, the non-invite to it. I showed up anyway. Drove 2 hours in a suit I hadn't worn since my cousin's wedding. I parked in the overflow lot, scanned the crowd from the back row. I saw her. Row 3. Front and center. Her tassel flicking in the wind. I waited after the ceremony. Students poured out, hugging family, holding bouquets. I waited by the main exit. 10 minutes. 20. 45. She never came out. It was her friend Tara, one of the few who ever acknowledged me, who told me. Saw me standing there, confused. She's gone, she said. Left after the diploma photo. Gone. No call. No wave. Not even a glance back. I didn't cry. I wish I had. But all I felt was something thick and heavy settling in my gut. Like a truth I hadn't been ready to admit just finally sat down inside me. That night, I went back to the apartment I still paid for. Her shoes were gone. Half the closet empty. The medicine cabinet, wiped clean. There was a note on the counter. 3 words. Thanks for everything. Not even signed. I don't remember much of the next day. Just that I didn't go to work. I sat in the car, key in the ignition, thinking about all the receipts in that glove box. Oil changes. Lease agreements. A ring brochure tucked between old napkins. I hadn't bought it yet, but I'd planned to. I was waiting for her graduation. Thought that'd be the moment. Take her out, tell her I was proud, slide the box across the table like some corny movie. Instead, I sat alone, the brochure now a punchline to a joke only I understood. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just a breakup. It was an erasure. So, I did what I thought I'd never do. I took it all back, starting with the car. Taking the car back wasn't as dramatic as I thought it might be. There were no confrontations, no shouting in the street, just the key still hidden under the doormat, just like always. She'd left town that weekend. Tara mentioned something about a graduation getaway, some cabin with friends. Or maybe someone new. Either way, she wasn't there. The Honda was parked right where I expected it, slightly crooked in that narrow space under the tree she always complained about. Birds keep targeting me like I insulted their family, she used to joke. It was quiet. Her apartment windows were drawn. I unlocked the car, slid into the seat, and sat there a moment before starting the engine. The familiar scent of her peppermint lotion still lingered in the air vents. Her graduation cap was in the back seat, tassel tangled with a receipt from some bougie brunch spot. I remember staring at the receipt for a while, for mimosas, truffle fries, smoked salmon Benedict. I ran the total in my head. I recognized the last 4 digits on the card. Mine. It felt like theft in slow motion, and I was the only one watching it happen. I drove the car back to my place, parked it in the garage, and called the leasing company first thing Monday morning. I had co-signed, but the agreement was in my name. Transferring it back was cleaner than I expected. She hadn't responded to any of their previous calls. Missed 3 payments. I covered them out of guilt, but now I saw them differently. Now they were part of my tuition, the price I paid to learn what kind of person she'd become. Next came the apartment. This one took more time. I wasn't on the lease, but every major expense, furniture, appliances, even the smart thermostat, was on my card. Her name was on the mailbox, but my money was in every drawer. I didn't take everything. That's not who I am. But I took the pieces that meant something. The espresso machine I'd spent weeks saving for when she said she wanted to stop wasting money on Starbucks. The desk I assembled one Sunday while she was napping, just to surprise her. The bookshelf I built when she got her first 4.0 semester and cried because she thought she wasn't smart enough. Each piece had a story. Each one felt like it still belonged to me, even if she didn't. I boxed them carefully, quietly, like I was packing up the remains of someone who used to live there. Maybe I was. I didn't leave a note. She texted 2 days later. Finally. Did you take the car? WTH? No, hi. No, sorry, I didn't tell you about graduation. Just a cold, annoyed question. Like I'd taken a toy from a toddler. I didn't answer. That's when the calls started. Voicemails, too. Can we talk? You're being really immature. I didn't think it mattered. You weren't part of the school stuff. Don't be petty. It's just a car. Just a car. It wasn't about the car. It wasn't about the apartment. It wasn't even about the money, not really. It was about the fact that I had stopped being useful. I had gone from investor to inconvenience, and she hadn't even had the decency to say goodbye before cutting me out. She didn't invite me to the graduation because she didn't want to deal with my presence in her new, curated life. I didn't fit the aesthetic anymore. The last thing I took was the card. Not a credit card. The handwritten card I'd slipped into her coat pocket the night before finals. It said, I believe in you. No matter what happens tomorrow, you're already everything I hoped for. I found it in her trash bin. Crumpled. Still folded. That hurt more than I expected. She never responded after I canceled her access to the shared streaming accounts, the gym membership I was still paying, the meal kit subscription she used once a month and pretended was our thing. She went quiet. I expected some final message. Some apology. A confession. Even a lashing out. But nothing came. A week passed. Then 2. Until I heard from Tara again. A text this time. She's saying you freaked out and stole from her. Just a heads up. But I know what you did. And why. That was enough for me. I didn't respond. I didn't defend myself. What was the point? Let her have the story she needed to sleep at night. Let her tell the world I was bitter, dramatic, possessive, that I lashed out because I couldn't handle a woman being independent. I wouldn't fight that. Because the truth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a whisper in the back of your mind that says, you mattered more than they let on. I mattered. I know I did. Because if I hadn't, she wouldn't have needed to pretend I didn't exist. But I did exist. I existed in every exam she passed with lights on because I paid the electric bill. In every Uber ride to class. In every takeout dinner she ordered while studying. And every night she fell asleep with her laptop still open and my hand still resting on her back. I existed, even if she wanted to erase me from the pictures. And so I moved on. Not in some grand, triumphant way. I didn't build an empire or expose her to the world. I didn't need to. But I started over. Got a new apartment. Canceled every account she still had access to. Got a new number. Donated the ring brochure to the recycling bin. Cut my hair. Switched my cologne. Little things. I kept the car for a while. Drove it to work. To the store. On long weekend trips, just to clear my head. But every time I sat in it, I felt like I was still sitting next to her ghost. So eventually, I sold it. Used the money to take a trip by myself. First one in years. It felt strange, but good. Like breathing air you didn't know you'd been holding back. That trip changed something. It made me realize I hadn't lost everything. I just finally stopped giving to someone who only knew how to take. And in that realization, I found something I hadn't felt in a long time. Power. Not control. Not revenge. Just quiet, honest, steady power. The kind that comes when you remember who you were before someone convinced you that love meant forgetting yourself. It had been a little over a year since I'd last seen her when I ran into her by accident. A bookstore of all places. One of those quiet ones that still had handwritten staff pics and the smell of real coffee in the air. I was just passing through town, visiting an old friend, clearing some boxes from storage. I almost didn't walk in, but something pulled me, and there she was, standing by the education section, of course, always drawn to those shelves. She was flipping through a book on school leadership, her hair tied back, wearing flats, and no makeup. She looked smaller somehow, less polished, less performative. She didn't see me right away. I had a full 5 seconds to look at her before she noticed. I counted. When her eyes landed on me, there was this flicker, like recognition had to pass through a wall of memory she thought she'd already torn down. Her lips parted. Hey. That's all. Just hey. As if we were two old classmates bumping into each other at a gas station. Not two people who'd shared dreams, debt, and a bed. Hey, I said back. We stood there for a moment too long. Long enough for the awkwardness to settle in, thick as dust on the forgotten corners of our past. You look good, she said. I nodded. So do you. It wasn't a lie. She looked human. Less like the woman from the university bulletin. More like the girl I first met. And that hurt in a way I hadn't expected, because it reminded me that there really had been something there once. I didn't think I'd see you again, she said. I know. She held the book a little tighter. I heard you moved. Sold the car. Shut off the apartment. I raised an eyebrow. News travels. Tara told me. Her voice was quiet. I think she still feels bad about everything. Does she? She gave a small laugh. Not mocking. Just tired. I don't know. Maybe. I didn't ask what she'd told Tara. I didn't care anymore. I got a job, she said. Assistant principal at a charter school. It's different than I thought it'd be. I just nodded. I didn't tell her I already knew. I'd seen the LinkedIn update 6 months earlier. She looked proud in that photo too. Different dress. Same smile. There was a long pause. Then she said something I didn't expect. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I looked at her. But you didn't try to not hurt me either. That sat between us like a weight. She blinked. I think she almost teared up, but she caught it. I was scared, she said, voice barely above a whisper. Everything you gave me, it made me feel small. Like I owed you something. Like I couldn't succeed unless you were behind me. I took that in. Let it settle. I didn't want you behind me, she went on. I wanted to feel like I'd made it on my own. I could have argued. Could have reminded her I never asked for anything. Never threw it in her face. Never made her feel indebted. But maybe that wasn't the point. Maybe the point was, she felt it anyway. And feelings have a way of becoming truth, even when they're wrong. I get it, I said finally. But erasing someone isn't the same as becoming independent. She looked down. I glanced at the book in her hands. The Courage to Lead. Fitting. I kept a picture of us, she said suddenly. From our first Christmas. You had that dumb sweater on. The one with the reindeer holding wine glasses. I smiled despite myself. You made me wear that. I know. She laughed a little. It's the only photo I didn't delete. I wanted to ask why, but I didn't. I didn't frame it, she added. I couldn't. We stood there a little longer, surrounded by silence and spines of books we'd never read. I should go, she said eventually. Okay. She hesitated, then reached into her purse and pulled out a small envelope. Plain. No name. I was going to mail this a while ago. I wrote it after I saw the car was gone. I didn't take it at first. Just stared. It's not a plea or anything, she said. Just something I needed to say. For me. But I thought you should have it. I took it. She nodded, stepped past me, and walked out of the store without looking back. I didn't open the letter right away. I tucked it into my jacket, finished browsing, bought a book on coastal hikes, and drove out of town before the streetlights came on. I waited until I was sitting on a bench by the lake the next morning, my breath visible in the morning chill, the waves calm as glass, before I opened it. It was short, handwritten. I don't know how to say I'm sorry without making it about me. So I won't. I just want you to know you were the only part of that time in my life that was real. And I hope, someday, you find someone who sees what I couldn't, what I was too afraid to honor. Thank you. For all of it. L. I folded it once, put it back in the envelope, and set it beside me on the bench. I didn't cry. I didn't smile either. I just breathed. And in that breath, there was no bitterness, no regret, just a quiet kind of knowing. Some things don't need closure. Some things are the closure. I watched the sun rise that morning with a calm I hadn't known in years. And I realized something simple, something gentle and powerful. I had loved well, and I had let go better.